So, hey there, beautiful people. There are certain foods, and I say that with quotation marks, that when you avoid them, your health and your waistline will benefit. In this video, I will break it all down for you, and it's all about the top 6 foods you should never eat again. Hey there, this is Lindy Ford, registered dietitian and clinical and licensed nutritionist and nutrition detective. So please follow me on all the social media outlets except for Twitter and subscribe to this channel. We would love to have you. Also, like this video if you do. And I have a quarterly newsletter that goes out 4 times a year, and it just is chock full of great information that will benefit you. I'm going to link a link below on how to get to that newsletter. You're just going to go on to my website to sign up. Now, I have heard it said, don't eat anything that your great-grandmother wouldn't recognize as food. And that's what this video is all about. Most of the foods today, really and honestly, our great-grandparents would not recognize, probably about 80% of what's in our grocery store. There are so many benefits, beautiful people, of eating real whole foods that have very little processing and very little chemicals in them. These are foods that are intact. They have the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, the healthy fat that we're missing, we've taken out, and we've gotten larger and had more heart disease. They have the fiber, the vitamins, the nutrients. They fight obesity. They help with inflammation and they actually reduce pain because they're more alkaline, and that lowers inflammation. So a while back, it was very vogue for dietitians to say, there are no bad foods. All foods are okay. Well, I disagree. I'm not your typical dietitian. I'm really not. And I say, no, there are bad foods out there because they're really not foods. That's why I say quotation marks. These are frankenfoods, and some are actually more monstrous than others. So I'm going to start with maybe what I think is the least monstrous. These are all things that you need to avoid or eat in very small quantities, and then I'm going to get to what I feel is the one that you should avoid altogether, the worst, most monstrous food. So number 6 are deli meats with fillers and chemicals. And the number 1 chemicals that I see in these meats that are so bad for your health are nitrites and nitrates. So nitrates are relatively inert, but the enzymes and the bacteria in our body can change them into nitrites. Nitrites are danger, Will Robinson, right? They can be converted to nitrosamines. So that's the main carcinogen in cigarette smoke. That is why it is so important to check your deli meats, your hot dogs, your bacon, your sausage. I'm not even saying to eat a lot of this stuff anyway. I don't think we should eat an overabundance of animal products, but when you do, make sure they're uncured, that they're nitrate free, and it says it right there on the label. Pay the $1 or $2 extra to get those good meats. Also fillers. You know, in the United States, we love to chock everything full of sugar, and you will see dextrose a lot of times on sausages and things like that. Just avoid it. Just say no. People in Europe don't do that. They don't put all this crap in their meat. So please try to avoid nitrates, nitrites, and any other kinds of fillers. Number 5 are whole and white wheat bread products. I know, scandalous, right? Whole wheat is the way to go. Whole wheat bread is like white bread with a good press agent. There's very little goodness to it. If you're going to eat bread, you might as well eat white bread. I know that's scandalous, but it is true, because all they do a lot of times is just throw a little tiny, teensy bit of fiber in this whole grain product. I do not like them. You've got to understand, beautiful people, that the wheat that we have now is very glycemic. It's different than it was 100 years ago. It has been hybridized. And for sometimes they say good reasons, I understand, but it's actually bad for our health. And that makes it more glycemic. It lends to gut problems as well as obesity, and it increases inflammation. If you want more information about that, please read the book Wheat Belly by Dr. William Davis. Good wheat would be sprouted, or I like the ancient grains like einkorn wheat. That actually isn't as glycemic and isn't as inflammatory in your body. Number 4 is genetically modified organisms, or GMO. And you might think, oh, I don't get those. I don't eat those types of things. But just think twice when you realize that 90% of our corn and soy are genetically modified in the United States. Some researchers are saying about 80% of everything in your grocery stores is GMO. What is GMO? GMO is when the DNA of that plant is modified using genetically engineering technology. That is really, for me, a cause for pause, right? The genes are added to the plants to improve their growth, the pest resistance, and ease of farming. And some of that can be good. I'm okay with selective breeding to give plants more desirable qualities, but inserting genes into that plant puts that whole process on turbo. And to me, that is not what our creator had in mind for these plants. The most common GMO is Bt corn, and that is genetically modified to produce the insecticide Bt toxin. That resists pests, but it also goes into your body when you eat it. There's all kinds of environmental and physiological concerns with that, like Roundup Ready corn. You spray the entire crop with glyphosate, and it doesn't hurt the crop because the crop is a GMO crop, but it is going to be getting into your body. To me, that is just not a good thing for you, and you need to be aware. So how do you figure this out? It's not labeled. Nothing is going to be labeled GMO. We've tried to do that. Many states have tried to do that, and that has been knocked down by the lobby group. But I can tell you that the way that you can tell if it doesn't have it in there is there's a voluntary third-party label called the non-GMO project or non-GMO verified. That's voluntary. But also, if you find a product that says USDA organic, you know for sure that that is not a GMO product because the US law prohibits it. It can't just say organic, it has to say USDA organic. Number 3 is high fructose corn syrup and white sugar. I know we all love it. And a lot of us are addicted to these products, but we need to greatly reduce. I say like white sugar is only for special occasions, special parties. It just cannot be an everyday thing, or your health is going to suffer. Back in the 70s, what the food manufacturers did is that they replaced sucrose, which is white sugar, with high fructose corn syrup because it was much cheaper. It's a cheaper product because it's the byproduct of a corn subsidy. So it's really, really cheap, cheaper than sugar. But the problem is the makeup of sucrose and of high fructose corn syrup. It's more than half. Actually, with white sugar, it's 50% fructose, and with high fructose corn syrup, it's anywhere from 55 to sometimes 90% fructose. Fructose is a problem. I did a video on fruit, and you can go ahead, and I link that below. You can go ahead and watch that. But health experts link fructose consumption to fatty liver, obesity, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes. It's in soft drinks, ketchup, crackers, cookies, salad dressings. Just read your labels, get it out of your diet. You can eat sugar on special occasions, but greatly reduce it. Number 2 is low-fat and non-fat dairy. This has been the biggest disinformation campaign in all of U.S. history. I can tell you that it has been perpetrated on us, and people still believe it today. When I tell people in my office, I did this the other day, I said, stop doing low-fat yogurt, stop doing low-fat this and that. Their eyes were like saucers. They just couldn't believe what I was saying because they've been told over and over again that low-fat products are the way to go. They're actually the way to go if you want to weigh more and if you want to have more disease. According to huge studies, I'm going to link a link below. I did a video on non-fat and low-fat dairy. I'm not saying that dairy is the end all and be all. Not everyone can even do dairy. But I'm just saying that if you are going to consume dairy, please do it in its natural form. I like organic, full-fatted, preferably A2 dairy. I'm gonna link that video below as well. This was based on faulty research about fat. The research that was done in the 1950s and 60s on fat was really suspect, and we have disproved all of that research. So drum roll please. The number one food that you should stay away from for your health and your waistline would be commercial cooking oils. I hate these. These are products that you should never have in your life. They're not good. And unfortunately, they also have a good press agent, because you'll see on Wesson oils and corn oils that they're heart healthy. That is absolutely not true. I hate this one the most because we have been so lied to. What are they? Soybean, vegetable, corn oil, canola, safflower, not high oleic. I do love high oleic safflower, peanut oil, and sunflower oil. Any of those processed oils. There's many things that are wrong with them. They are not cold pressed. They're processed with chemicals. 100 years ago, we didn't even have this processing, so we couldn't get so much of them. And they're in everything. They are insidious. We get too many of these. They're polyunsaturates, and there's some polyunsaturates like omega-3s that we need more of. But these polyunsaturates are the omega-6, and we get too much of them. We actually create an imbalance in our body because we get so many of them, and we don't get enough omega-3s, which causes inflammation and heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and all kinds of bad things. Also, these are the oils that get partially hydrogenated. You think they're gone, they're really not gone out of our food supply yet. They're supposed to be, but they're not. So please, of course, stay away from partially hydrogenated. But you know to stay away. Look for soybean oil in your salad dressings and don't eat it. Don't buy that particular salad dressing. Look for them. These are deadly foods. And then when you take, I call it the unholy trinity, you take wheat flour, you take these inflammatory oils, and you put in sugar and high fructose corn syrup. It is like a big, huge, perfect storm of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, all kinds of things that you don't want in your body. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to link my link below on weight loss that works, because these are not fads. These are based in good research, and these are weight loss techniques that are going to help you for a lifetime, and so you don't have to struggle so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.